Simplified Chaos, episode 70.
Life is beautiful and full of chaos.
And it can get slightly out of hand if that shit's not tamed.
We're here to share how to simplify the little things to help you lead a more intentional life.
This is Simplified Chaos.
Hey, wonderful friends. Welcome to another episode of Simplified Chaos. This is Jillian, one of your hosts, and I'm with my co-host and ruggedly handsome, long-haired husband.
What's going on, folks? I definitely need a haircut. It's just not...
It's different.
It's not flowing right now. It is... the Johnny Bravo look is getting really difficult to maintain as my hair gets longer.
I'm digging it. It's different.
Well... Some of us are then.
Just don't shave your beard. That's all I ask.
I'm not going to do that. It's getting a little bit longer, but not much longer. I hope you all are doing well. Another week in quarantine or not in quarantine. We're all living how we want to live. Not really, but anyways, we got another great episode here for you today. Jilly, what are we diving into?
This episode is just how we're keeping it fun, family style and couple style.
Yeah,
and we've got some listener participation. So
absolutely, yeah.
Ideas.
Our listeners have some really great ideas, so we're gonna share them with you today, and hopefully spark some ideas for you, so that we can make this whole thing fun and continue to survive and have fun with it.
Thrive.
That's right.
Not
thrive.
survive.
Yeah, we're all thriving.
And of course, I got a good opening quote for this.
You do. But we got to, before we get into that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
You almost forgot.
Oh, man, I forgot gratitude.
We're going to show a little gratitude right now.
How about you go first?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, we're
gonna we haven't flipped this in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am grateful for my brother and sister-in-law. They live about 30 miles from us on the other side of the Chesapeake Bay. And we had been on a Zoom on Friday night. And they were like, hey, can we do like a drive-by just to see Lucille? And I was like, you can do more than a drive-by. You guys can get out of the car. We can social distance at the house and hang out on the patio in the back. We don't have to, do the whole drive-by thing. So they made the trip out, and, it was nice. They wanted to go to a restaurant that's close to us anyway. So it was on the way, but it was great just to hang out with them for an hour, see them and be able to interact with them. My brother took a look at my shed, and I definitely have a little bit of a termite issue. So we're talking about how to mitigate that. He is in pest control, so he is the definitely the person to speak with about that. But no, I'm just really grateful that, they were able to stop by and hang out with us for a few minutes and, see Lucille. And I know it's been a while since they've really seen her in person, and just how much she's grown since the last time that they've seen her. I mean, I know it hasn't been a long time, but when she's developing as quickly as she is, it's a long time. So yeah, definitely grateful for them stopping by. What about you, baby?
I'm swarming with so many things that I'm grateful for. It's going to be
hard.
There
is definitely a lot.
But I guess this was a very unique situation. So I am grateful for getting the chance to actually talk with some of our listeners. So I recently did a free health coaching call because these amazing mamas took time out of their busy schedule to answer some survey questions for the Clean and Simple Life. And I got to meet them, and all three of them were like, hey, I listened to your podcast. And I'm like, what? This is so crazy. So it's cool to hear that people are listening to this, because sometimes we do this and it's like, we're just having fun. We're putting things out there that have helped us. And if somebody can take it and run with it and it helps them, that's great. But to actually hear feedback from these people and meet them kind of face to face through computers, it was pretty unreal to be able to talk with them and just, get to know about them and their lives. And some of them, I met their kids coming through on the camera, right. But it was just really cool being able to meet our listeners. And I know our plans this year were to have meetups to meet our listeners.
Yeah.
And things are not folding that way.
It's funny. So I was looking at the calendar, and that one meetup we were planning in Frederick was supposed to happen, I think, this weekend. It was either this weekend or next weekend. But my calendar looks pretty pathetic right now with nothing in it.
It is weird just saying, because I'm so programmed to say, hey, like, what are you doing this weekend? And I kind of stop myself and I'm like, I kind of already know what you're doing this weekend. It's kind of funny. Like, what's the new question we can ask people?
Well, I actually had a pretty interesting weekend this past weekend with doing the online poker with my friends.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun. You know, we've done a poker night and we try to do it like once every couple months. It ends up being like once every 6 months and then maybe once, you know, and so one of my buddies emailed me and was like, hey, I figured out how we can all play poker and without us having to like pay actual money into it. I mean, we did it on the side. Nobody called the IRS or anything on that. But yeah, I know. But yeah, it was fun. Like we set up the Zoom. We found a poker site that allows us to do it for free, and it was actually really fun. I mean, I would have certainly loved to have been there in person with them, hanging out. But you know, the games went a little bit quicker just because we didn't have to worry about human shuffling or anything like that. It was definitely an interesting experience. I came in second place in our first game, so I won a little bit of money on that one. So I ended up breaking out even for the end of the night, but it was just another fun thing to do, another just alternative to being there in person. And I thought it was really, you know, a good time.
Yeah, I've never been a huge poker fan, but I know that you enjoy it. So I'm glad you had that opportunity to kind of hang out with your boys.
That's right.
On the web.
On the internet.
On the internet.
Yep. But anyways, you had said a little bit earlier that you have a quote to start us off with here, Jilly.
I'm all scrambled.
Before you tried to jump the gun there.
Well, the fact that we're podcasting on a Sunday night, like things
wow,
are
you
not...
think it's Sunday, don't you?
Oh my God, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
We're
quickly doing this and getting this out tomorrow morning.
Things are just... The routines have just swiveled and swapped, and I'm okay with it. I'm going with it and embracing it. It's just scrambling a little bit in my head space right now, which is good. Like throwing a curveball every couple days, forgetting the days of the week is perfectly
we threw
okay.
ourselves a curveball on this one. We had a couple opportunities to do it, and we were like, yeah, we'll just do it on Sunday. And then Sunday came around, and Lucille was up late last night anyway. And
that's the other thing.
It's just been a long weekend. Yeah.
She's been going to bed later, and we've been having fun. So we're putting off the podcast because we didn't want to ruin, I don't want to say ruin, but we didn't want to interrupt or stop the fun stuff that we've been doing.
Which we're going to talk about.
Yes. And I saw this quote, and it didn't say who it was from, but it said, sometimes having fun with your best friend is all the therapy you need.
That's right.
And I think of pretty much you and everyone in this house as my best friend.
That's
Lucia,
true.
like everyone. And I feel like we've done a lot of things as a family to keep it fun, and we've done some good stuff as a couple to keep it fun.
We definitely have.
You know, a little romantic.
Yeah.
So I thought first we'd start light and just do some family things.
Okay.
So one thing that I've been trying to do is, I know we used to have breakfast dates out.
God, I miss breakfast dates out.
You know, I'm
looking at you, Woodbury.
I know. We used to go to Woodbury Kitchen or Artifact Coffee.
Grump's Cafe.
And I got up Saturday morning and I said, man, it'd be really cool to like go get a good breakfast and bring it home. But none of those places are even open.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? We're making waffles and we're making bacon. And I just went all out, like shortcut style. Though, like I didn't make homemade waffles, but I got a pretty good brand, like healthy brand.
They were delicious.
They were.
So were those eggs.
Shout out to Kodiak Cakes and my husband for making the best soft scramble ever.
I tell you what, folks, if you don't know how to make a soft scramble, you're missing out on something. Like, that is by far the best eggs that I ever have is that soft scramble. And if you want to learn how to make it, maybe I'll do an Instagram video this week. So you'll have to check out.
I'll film you.
Yeah. Jilly will film me, but it's not hard to do. There's a little technique involved, but it's very easy and it is freaking delicious.
It's a game changer. I think they're amazing.
Yes.
So I think, we've been putting in a little extra effort on the weekends just to make it more enjoyable and just a little bit different than the weekdays.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, one thing that we've been doing lately to make it more fun. And I'm excited to do this next weekend as well. And maybe instead of making waffles, maybe I'll do pancakes, or maybe we'll make some big omelets.
French toast.
Ooh, I could make my
Oh, remember
sourdough
that
French
big ass
toast.
omelet I made a week and a half ago?
Yeah, that was good too.
That was a gigantic. So it was a gigantic omelet that fed 4 people.
It was amazing.
I mean, it was. I was like, you know what? I think it was either a 10 or 11 egg omelet. I forget what I did. It was. I mean, it should have just been a dozen egg omelet when I think about it. But yeah, made that shit work, and it was awesome.
Well, maybe I'll put you in the chef seat on this weekend.
All right.
Something else that I've been doing is that, at least my sister and I have been going over to my mom's house on Sundays.
Yes.
And she doesn't live that far. And we've been having little movie days where we've been watching this show. It's a British show. It's called Sanditon. Me and my sister are obsessed with like time period
You like
pieces.
anything Jane Austen?
Yes, and it was written by Jane Austen, and for some reason I didn't know this, but she didn't technically finish writing this book, so they kind of interpreted the way they wanted to and kind of went with it, and we got to have fun watching that and just kind of snacking and just hanging out with my mom and her sister and my cousin. So that's been like really nice on Sundays.
Yeah, and some Sundays you'll take Lucille with you, and then other Sundays you'll leave her here with me. And so like last weekend, you took her and I was able to get yard work done because Sunday was like the nice day of the weekend. So I was able to get that done. And then this weekend, Sunday was kind of a crappy day. And, you're like, can I leave Lucille here with you? And I was like, yeah. So, Lucille and I have had our own adventures, and I'm sure, during the week, you and Lucille have your own adventures. So it's been a lot of fun, sharing that responsibility of just hanging out with her, when we're doing our thing, or you have something to do, or when I have something to do. But of course, it's also great when we're all 3 of us are together doing stuff too. But yeah, so, that Sunday tradition has worked out really well for you guys. And now you have to find something new because you just wrapped up that season, didn't you?
We did, and I was not very excited about the ending. Let's just say they finished it thinking there was going to be a season 2, and as of right now, there is no season 2, and I was really disappointed.
Bum, bum, bum.
But I really liked the show until that point. But something else we've been doing, I don't think it's kind of becoming more intentional, is that Sunday night dinners are being cooked by Mark, our roomie.
Yeah, he's been doing really good in the Sunday night dinners. Last night he did salmon on the grill, and
it was like with a ginger maple glaze.
Yeah,
it was heavenly.
That was really good.
Yeah.
And he cooked them on the what are those? The cedar planks. So he soaked those in water for about an hour or so to get them all seasoned up, and then threw those on the grill. And on the sides we had cauliflower, mashed cauliflower. Is that what it is?
Mashed cauliflower.
Turmeric mashed cauliflower, rice, and asparagus. So yeah, he went all out yesterday, and it was delicious. I think the weekend before, what did we have? Steaks.
We had steaks.
We had steaks. So,
but it's been nice just having that break off of cooking and then having someone else cook this big gourmet meal. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, he's really taking pride into making sure that everything's perfect. The weekend before, he was prepping really early. Like he had prepped like 2 hours ahead of time, and it turned out amazing. And his brother's been coming over and hanging out with us too, so it's been really nice.
It has been.
Yeah.
And something else we just recently did is we kind of planned out a family vacay.
Yeah, so I am all about taking advantage of this opportunity. And we have already mapped out 2 trips and paid for them already. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. It's Southwest Airlines, and we'll just get a credit on there for next year. But we were able to book a trip out to Denver in late July. So we're, I also was taking the time frame into mine, and I'm hearing that June-ish is going to be the time when things are going to start getting a little bit better. Who knows? Don't quote me on that. But I was like, late July is not bad. And then, so we booked a trip using just my points for the round trip for the both of us. It was $200, like total.
That's awesome.
Me and you. So that was booked through my Southwest points. And then, you were on the phone with your dad, and I was like, why don't we go out and visit them, in Tucson? So I was like looking stuff up, and Tucson's actually a pricey trip, flying Southwest. When I was looking at it like earlier in the year for us to fly out there, it was like $1,800, $1,600 for us to get out there. But we ended up doing this one for like $800 for 3 of us. And that is paying for Lucille to have a seat as well. So there's some great deals to be had out there. And we're going at the end of September on that one, early October. So I'm, again, hoping that things are going to be a little bit safer at that point. But, I'm taking advantage of the deals here. And so we weren't really planning on having a really big vacation or many vacations this year. But this kind of changed things. And, we're not going to be spending a lot of money on hotels or anything like that because we're going to be staying with your dad and Tanya. So
in Denver it'll be at an Airbnb,
and we have a gift card for Airbnb. So we're not paying a lot for our vacations this year, and we're gonna have a couple good trips. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and why not try and plan something to look forward to? And even if it doesn't come to fruition, at least just the excitement of planning something is fun.
It was a lot of fun. Just swiping the credit card. No, I'm just kidding. There's no swipe. But like just getting that thing done and actually having, something to look forward to. So
yeah. So that's been fun. That's kind of all I had on the family side. Do you want to switch to the couples?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get intimate here, Jilly.
Let's get freaky.
Freaky naughty.
So, we've talked about this a couple times on our previous episodes, but we are...
Pretty sure it was one of my gratitude, too.
No.
Quarantine relations.
No, but we can start with that.
Is that where you're going?
No, we can start that. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, quarantine relations.
What about it, honey?
We're making sure to keep up with a nice little schedule on that one.
What's your
at least 2 times a week.
At least twice a week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're about due here. Nah, it's the beginning of the week.
And you've been mixing up a little bit.
Yeah.
Like sometimes starting differently or
just trying to keep you off guard.
Manhandling me more.
Or denying you.
And I don't know if any or denying me playing hard to get. Damn it, Nick. Or I just watch you do some pull-ups before
pull-ups or push-ups or
I don't know what it is, but watching you show your strength immediately turns me on.
The nice thing is Jilly really thinks I'm strong and it's just a facade.
The fact that you can do a pull-up and I can, I'm like,
I can do more than one. I got 4 under my belt.
You did. You just made 4.
Yeah.
You just think if you can do 6,
and I've got really lanky arms too, so I got a long way to go up.
Not your excuses.
I'm sure if I was stocky, I can get at least 6.
So yeah, we've been continuing our sex rhythms, so to speak, and it's been good.
Yeah.
We've also still stuck with our midweek day dates.
So yeah, this has been fun. And I've been scheduling it in my calendar just to make sure that nothing gets booked around that appointment. So I think we've mentioned it before. We go and we visit our little coffee shop in Laurel.
Yep.
It's a 25-minute drive. We go there. Jill orders ahead of time, which is very sweet of her. And we go, we pick it up, we come back, we eat, drink, and then we go back and doing our thing.
We do.
Work.
We have some nice conversation on the way. And I feel like it's been really productive conversation. I'm never planning for that, but then we start pinging ideas back and forth. Sure. And I'm like, this is good shit, Nick. So I really...
It's exciting too. Yeah. I mean, with you doing what you're doing, with this business. So I get really excited for you because you're really excited about it. And, I love that you're comfortable with pinging ideas off of me and open to feedback and whatnot. I know that's can be tough when you're putting something together and then somebody's like, well, did you think of it this way? But you're so open to that. And I'm not trying to dictate or whatever, which way you're doing. I'm just more of suggestions or looking at it from a different perspective. And I love that we can have those conversations in the car and, really just, if you succeed, we succeed. And that's the way that I see it. So I want to do whatever I can to help out. So yeah, it's been a very productive conversation.
I've been very appreciative of those car rides for sure. And I think we've been having, as a couple, just some slightly more relaxed nights. We have been drinking a little bit more than usual, and it wasn't as much as it was when we first started quarantine.
It's more often, we're not drinking more, we're drinking more often.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm totally okay with it. We've been having we had a glass of wine last night.
Yeah.
We had a cocktail Saturday night. We had a cocktail Friday night. It's been about like maybe 3 nights a week, I think.
3 to 4, just depending.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm just embracing it. Like it's been fun just to let loose a little bit, and it's not like I'm using it as a distraction or to fill a void of how I'm feeling. It's just really, we come together as a family or as a couple, and we just have a cordial, so to speak, and just kind of chill together.
It's a slow time. We realize that times are not going to be this slow anymore. I mean, we're still, with work, very busy. Like, the busyness hasn't stopped, but I mean, there is no us going out and hanging out with friends, which, we definitely miss that. But I mean, life has slowed down in that sense where we're not running around all the time. And we've been very deliberate about, how often we go out, but I mean, we're just not going out now.
Yeah.
So it's allowed us to slow down and allowed us to kind of take it a little bit easier. And like you said, we may have a family night where we're watching something on TV, a little bit more often, or like you said, we're having more frequent nights where we're having a cocktail or something like that. But we'll probably never have a time like this in our lives again. So watch this again happen next year. So.
And something else that we're planning on doing is that, you mentioned that it's a weird time to take off work because we're all at home.
Yeah.
So,
it's like, do you want to burn a vacation day?
You mentioned, that you wanted to take a day off because you really work hard. When you're in the basement, you're like down there, you're working your ass off. And I was thinking that, if you take a day off, it would be cool if I could take a day off too. And maybe you, me, and Lucille could just take a long drive somewhere. And somewhere in Maryland. We're not going anywhere else.
Yeah, God forbid if we drive into Delaware. I hear they're pulling people over if you're from out of state.
I know. And then maybe just, get out, have a nice walk, go somewhere where we can walk around and get some takeout and just be in a different environment just for a day. I think that would be really fun. So I think we need to stick with this and plan to take a day off either next week or the week after and make it happen.
Yeah, no, I definitely am feeling that. So we're going to make it happen. We'll check the calendars tomorrow.
All right. So here are some ideas from our listeners.
Yeah. No, our listeners have had some awesome ideas.
One of our listeners recommended that something that they did was that they built forts with their kids, and then they had like a movie night. And I haven't built a fort in I don't know how many years.
I was starting to think about building a fort with Lucille. And I think she would be all about it. Like, I was going to do that in her room. I need bigger blankets in there and another chair to make that happen, just to see if this girlfriend was trying to buck her going to bed tonight. I'll have to tell you about that after the podcast is over.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. She's getting to that point where she's trying to distract you and find something else to do after she's laid down. So, yeah, I'm fully getting that from her now. So,
this is exciting.
But yeah, forts sound awesome. I love forts.
And recently one of our listeners, they created their own little concession stand for like a movie theater, like where they were selling popcorn and candy. And they had a movie night too, but it was cute seeing this, like the homemade stand where it said, I don't know if it said prices or something for what the candy was or the popcorn. Right. But I just thought that was so creative how they're bringing things, places where they would go inside the home and making it like themes in the house.
Absolutely. And the kids are just loving it, like acting as the concession stand person or whatever. And it's just really cool, like just to be able to and creative. Like, that's the greatest thing about this time. It's forcing people to really be creative. And yeah, no, it's just really cool to see that. It was a very unique setup that they had there.
And some other ideas. It seems like a lot of people are just getting more active as a family, which is really cool. So one of our listeners, they've been taking more bike rides as a family, and they put up a little, I don't know what you call it, that little trailer hitch that you put on the back of a bike. And
yeah.
They have a toddler too, so they've been going on lots of bike rides. And then I just want to shout out to our neighbors, not that they listen to this podcast, but they've been out there playing family hockey games, which has been really fun to watch. Yeah.
No, it reminds me of when I was, a kid, because we played hockey in the court all the time. Like, we were either playing baseball during baseball season, when it got a little bit colder, we were out there on rollerblades playing hockey in the court. And it's just really, I mean, they do it a couple nights a week. And, they're out there having fun. They're cross-checking each other and stuff like that. But it's really cool to watch that.
And
Thanksgiving. I've been seeing people doing Thanksgiving a lot, which I think is awesome. We had our own Thanksgiving. Was that last weekend or the weekend before? I don't know. It was definitely inspired by, our friend. But I've been seeing a lot of people do that. Our neighbor also did Thanksgiving this past weekend, and she said it felt great to do something different and cook the Thanksgiving and just it's been fun. Like, I don't think we would ever see people cooking Thanksgiving in April, and I've seen it a lot now, and I think that's just a really cool suggestion. So if you haven't cooked Thanksgiving yet, consider, and it's all about the sides. Like, we did our Thanksgiving with a rotisserie chicken. We didn't do the turkey. So if you're not a fan of turkey, there are alternatives.
That's sourdough stuffing. Damn.
Yes.
On the skillet.
We may have to do this again.
I'm totally down for doing it again, like tomorrow, if I had everything.
Oh, goodness. When are we doing hot dogs?
Oh, you know what? We should have like a ballpark night.
Yep.
Where I get like really good Applegate hot dogs.
And then Lucille has a bat and a ball, and we go out and play, and we're watching her with hot dogs.
Bump.
Yeah. Good call.
Let's do that.
It is baseball season.
That would be really fun, like our own little opening day.
Hell yeah.
Oh, damn. That was a great idea, Nick. We just
made it up myself.
And that is all I had.
Yeah. So, great job, folks, for being creative. And, we want to hear some more suggestions. Let us know what you're doing. Like, anything creative to kind of pass the time, or just to, be closer as roommates, as family, as partners, whatever it is that you're doing. We'd love to hear that and share it with the folks that follow us on the gram. So
tell us how you're keeping it fun, friends.
Yeah. So, Jilly, do you have any resources for our listeners?
I do. This is going to be a fun surprise.
Ooh.
So,
surprise!
I've been hearing about all the games that people are playing with other couples.
Okay.
And this is one game that I've actually never played with another couple. It's the Would You Rather game.
Oh, yeah. My friends and I have played that all the time, but we would find like the most disgusting things in the world to say, would you rather?
But when's the last time you played it?
Oh, I'm sure it's probably been within the last year.
Oh.
Like, we're still big kids. Like, every now and then that'll pop up on the old text chain.
Okay, so I found this website, and I will put the link in the show notes.
All right.
And the title is Tough and Fun, 250 Would You Rather questions.
Oh, shit.
So I have some that I'm going to ask you.
Oh, man. She's putting me on the spot. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me, people, based on my answers.
Just 5 questions. But I think this is something fun that you can just pick from if you don't have any ideas, just to do with your spouse or a roommate or your family. And they had different categories. Like, they're not all dirty, and they're not all silly. I mean, some are more serious, but I had to mix them in. You know that.
Got it. All right. I'm just gonna fire away gut reaction on either one of them. Again, people, don't judge me.
Would you rather always make out for 6 hours or always have sex for less than 7 minutes?
Always have sex for less than 7 minutes.
I kind of feel like you're gonna pick that. Okay. Would you rather have 3 feet or 3 hands?
3 hands.
Why?
I get by pretty well with 2 feet. Like, I don't think I really need a third foot, but you can always use an extra hand. Right?
I just like hearing your reasonings. I think that my favorite part about this game is just going to be listening to like the why part.
I don't even need a reason for the first one.
I don't even know if you're supposed to ask why, but I am so intrigued by answers.
You can ask why, and
right.
I may or may not answer it. So question 3.
All right.
Oh, God.
They may not be funny to you, but I was laughing when I was writing some of these. Would you rather forget who you are every time it rains or never be able to remember why you walked into a room?
Never remember why you walked into a room? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Or forget who you are when it rains?
Would you rather forget who you are every time it rains or never be able to remember why you walked into a room?
I would go with the rains thing because, That would drive me absolutely bonkers if I didn't know when I was walking into a room every freaking time.
I guess
so
I just
at least it
picture-
doesn't rain every day.
I just picture what that looks like. You coming into a room and then just like having this look on your face.
Oh, God.
Okay.
When you say forget who you are, like I always think of what's that movie? Christmas Vacation, when he says he's got the plastic plate in his head because when he had the metal plate in his head, anytime that his wife fired up the microwave, he'd piss his pants and forget who he was.
Okay. I need to stop crying.
All right.
Okay.
Question 4. Are we on 4 now? We got
Yes,
2
we're on
more?
4.
All right.
Would you rather live the rest of your life with silent but uncontrollable gas or loud, uncontrollable sneezing?
Oh, I already have. Well, my sneezes are loud, but they're definitely controllable. Give me the gas. Like sneezing, just the uncontrollable sneezing just sounds awful. Just give me the gas.
I don't know how many friends you would have on.
Not a lot, probably.
All right, the last one. Would you rather never be able to leave your house? I thought this was very appropriate.
Okay, this is, well,
Or only be able to be in your house for 5 minutes at a time?
that one's actually tough.
I thought it was very appropriate for quarantine
It's
life
definitely
right now.
quarantine life. I mean, just give me quarantine. Like, this is where my family is. Like, being here just 5 minutes at a time would suck. So, yeah. Give me life in the house. Put an ankle bracelet on me. Not allowed to go more than 15 feet off the lawn.
I think that just kind of speaks loud about your mindset about this whole,
Yeah.
how you see this whole experience. And I think we're doing a good job of making it enjoyable and fun and still meaningful, you know?
I agree. That was a fun little exercise there, Jilly.
I thought so. I wanted to put some spontaneity in here at the end.
So as she mentioned, we'll put the link to this crazy quiz in the show notes. So Jilly, do you have a quote of the day for our listeners?
I do.
All right. Get at it.
All right. The quote of
As
the
she
day,
scrolls to it.
I know how to find it, is from Katharine Hepburn.
Oh, Kathy.
If you obey all the rules, you miss all the fun.
Square. I was a square in high school, so that was aimed at high school Nick. Anyways, take action challenge. I think this is pretty straightforward.
Your take action challenge is just to seek out fun and intentionally put it into your days.
Hell yeah.
That is all. Seek the
Do
fun.
it. Seek that shit out. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this episode, please do us a favor and help us spread the message. You can do this by writing a review or simply by sharing this episode with a friend. And remember, sharing sparks a conversation. Conversation leads to action, and action is how we're able to live a happy and intentional as hell lifestyle. We want to thank you all for listening today, and we will see you again next week.
See you later, guys.